Let's go back to our active testing. Now that we have the better version of Flights application running, let's go back to active testing. And I want you to run another scan. So let's go back to scans and let's execute yet another scan. And keep in mind, there is an inconsistency right now we have with respect to what the implementation does and what the currently provided OpenAPI specification uh, indicates, specifies in active testing. Okay, so let's scan. Let's wait. We should have 15 issues right now. We should have one more. As you can see, active testing is doing its job. 11, 12, 13, completed. 15 in total. So what's the difference, right? What's the difference? So let's select the last scan job and let's locate what the heck is the difference. Do I see it right here? Nope. So let's go and list 20 and it's down here. It's low. OpenAPI undocumented fields in response. Our OpenAPI specification, the one we uploaded in active testing, has no clue that there is a flight ID field. But the application now contains that flight ID. So if we select this OpenAPI undocumented fields in response, you will see exactly that. Hey buddy, you had an extra field in the response. All right, that's exactly what you'll be told. It's exactly what active testing let us know. And you get to see it right away, right? Here's the request. Here's the response. We have a flight ID. But the spec doesn't have that information because I intentionally did not want to add it. Okay. Generally speaking, you change the implementation, you got to change, or you change the interface of your API, you got to update the OpenAPI specification that captures these changes to your interface. And of course, that's what we're going to do next. So back to the settings, back to the environment, select Flights API, please. The source, under source, sources, select Flights API. Now, you can go ahead and select file and you can choose a brand new file. What am I looking at? Oh, it's a bug, guys. Oh, it's a bug. We shouldn't be seeing the John Doe Postman collection. We should be seeing the different sources that are available, right? So let me cancel that. Let me try it another time. So let me refresh the page. And let's give it another try. So edit, Flights API, edit. Yeah. Now it behaves appropriately. Okay, now it behaves appropriately. Again, you're dealing with heavily JavaScripted applications. I wouldn't say it's the stablest system out there, which says something about our industry. But anyhow, um, here it is. Now, if you choose to upload a file, because the file that we need to upload is identically named as this flights OpenAPI specification.yaml, you're not allowed to upload it. You're not allowed. Okay. Don't do it. I'm going to do it so that I can show you, and then we can do it together. Right. So I'm going to upload a brand new file. And I need to go back to my student files and I need to select now the one flight ID, and now I need to select the flights OpenAPI specification.yaml because this file contains that extra field in the post flights, the flight ID. If I select open, error. File already exists, please remove it or rename it to the chosen file. So I choose to remove this version. So now you're with me. Now you're with me. Let's select delete file. Select delete. Let's go ahead and upload the latest incarnation. So upload new file. Make sure you navigate under your student files, files, one flight ID, and you select flights OpenAPI specification.yaml. Click open this time. Make sure you're selected so that it appears in the input, and click save. There you go. If you go back to the inventory because you updated an OpenAPI specification, now you're going to get to see pretty much the same exact warning. Please rerun a scan. You updated a source, right? So let's go back to the scans. Let's rerun a scan. This time we should go back to 14 issues. Should go back to 14 issues. Why? Because the inconsistency was fixed, right? That inconsistency was already fixed. There we go. 14 issues, right? Remember, we detected that error in scan number 6. We fixed it in scan number 7. Okay, that's the only thing that's missing. Actually, you can see. If you go back to the issues, resolved. This issue was detected on 6. It was fixed on 7. So that's why the scan ID is on 6 and the tag is marked as resolved. And you can select them, right? And if you select one of these, you're pretty much going to see like the same information you see under individual scans. Right? The only difference right now is that you see it as being resolved. And if I take you to the overview, APIs 5, scans, 7 scans, 14 open issues, 1 closed issue, because it's the one we just fixed, right? And so on. So the next thing I would like to do, right? The next thing I would like to do is get back to the inventory, right? Get back to the inventory. Why? Because I already now have a couple of things that are different. For example, if I take you back to users, right? Go back to the users. I want you to clear all the changes that you performed earlier on. By selecting clear changes, you're pretty much removing all the changes you explicitly provided, you explicitly performed, right? So I want you to clear all changes. So you're going back to John, you're going back to John Doe at acme.com, right? The hard-coded values. But keep in mind, right now, every time you send a request, if the user already exists, then you're going to get a textual indication that, hey, that user already, that user name is already there. You're going to have a different error message, something that's going to help active testing do the right thing. The next thing I would like you to do, make sure you select publish so we can make those changes stick. Publish changes. Let's go back to the inventory and let's go to get flights by flight ID. And I also want you to clear all changes you performed. Clear all changes you performed as well. And also select publish changes. Publish changes. Okay, do all that. All right, and we're going to run another scan, right? We're going to run another scan. Let's scan it again. Not much is going to change, right? Like we still had 14 issues, we're still going to have 14 issues, but there's a couple of things that will change for us. That's going to help us identify reachability without us having to do anything, right? Without you and I having to do anything. You still have the same exact issues. Nothing changed on this end, but something changed, and that's on the reachability front. If you go back to your inventory and now you go back to the post users and you check the reachability, I want you to pay attention that, hey, that username now is changed automatically into static, into a faker value. It was done automatically by active testing because it processed that response and it says, okay, well, probably what the error message says that the username is a unique value. So let me try to change that username. There is some language processing under the hood, guys. Keep that in mind. So that's number one. Number two, it's this flight by flight ID, like the trouble child. So if I go back to the reachability right now, pay attention. Right now, the post flight is the actual dependency. And if I select these post flights and I see the response, I now have a flight ID of 176. This, my good people, is going to give me the ability to use that value. Right? Response 176. Great. You see stuff like that, you know active testing identified the appropriate dependency. Right? Active testing is going to try its hardest to do the right thing. Sometimes it's able to do, actually most of the time it's able to do it, sometimes it's not able to do it. That's why even if you see things being reachable, always validate. And again, if you're the developer who's developing this type of APIs, you know the type of relationship you're building in your APIs. So make sure the right relationship is established. And with this, my good people, you pretty much have concluded, for the most part, the second exercise. There's only a couple of extra things that I'd like to show you, right? And we can do that in the next section, right? The next section. For the time being, that's the only thing I wanted to show you. Good, kudos. Section is done. You're almost done with the second exercise.